Hello everyone, Wild Rocket here is with you from Istanbul, Turkey. This is the 10th Awakening Anniversary video series commemorating my spiritual awakening, a decade since I awakened, I was born again, I was given a second chance at life. And as part of the 10th Awakening Anniversary commemoration festivities, as I like to think of it, I am recording a series of videos explaining what I've learned throughout these 10 years as it pertains to health, wellness, becoming your greatest version, psychology, and related subjects. Today is part 5, and part 5 is going to be an interesting challenge because it's the subject which has been very important, been the most important for me to learn about, especially over the past couple of years. But it's a topic on which I have very little experience and on which I know the least. But nevertheless, we're gonna give it our best go because it's extremely important, and the lessons I'm learning in this field is helping me transform in ways in which I never even thought possible, and that is love, romance, and relationships. Yes, today. Love, romance, and relationships. Now, obviously, when we talk about romance and relationships, our first thought is a romantic relationship with another human being, someone who you love deeply and you care for and you share a profound bond with, that is incomparable to the kind of relationship you share with anybody else, which is obviously going to be the main topic of what I want to talk about here today. But it's interesting because issues like romance and love and being in a relationship, these are not things which I ever had much of an interest in or any interest in whatsoever in my previous life. And even after my spiritual awakening, even though love as a theme became extremely important, that was like not only important, but it was the very crux behind my awakening. It was the very life force which enabled me to awaken again. Had it not been for the pure love energy, there is no way I would still be alive today. So love as an energy is everything to me. However, love in the context of a romantic relationship with another human being is something which has really eluded me and not something which I ever felt I had to deal with or I had any interest in dealing with. And that was true for a long time. I've always enjoyed my own company. I've always enjoyed being alone, being solitary. I never, even though I loved connecting with like-minded people on a spiritual level, sharing ideas, I never really felt the urge to share my life with someone in a romantic sense or cohabiting with them in a girlfriend boyfriend capacity, much less think of things like marriage. But it's really interesting because this has as I've gotten older, that has changed a lot. I found myself not so much needing it. I still love being single. However, I found myself wondering about it, just the way that I would wonder about various aspects of my inner state through meditation and through inner work. I found myself wondering about what it would be like to inhabit this space. And it's been interesting because I found that, I found like a wonder, like what would it be like to actually be vulnerable with another human being. And then through that process, I realized that I still had that there were some important edges there, like roadblocks, because in the back of my mind, I had associated being vulnerable and showing my feelings with another human being in a romantic setting as a sign of weakness. And it's through, recent experiments and really thinking about this deeply that I've realized that this, again, is another upper limiting behavior, because what might feel like a temporary jolt of pain when you share something is actually just a gateway into opening up the floodgates to more love, to more communion, to more shared joy and compassion in this world, shared, seen reflected in somebody else. And, that led me down to a path of reading about twin flames and soulmates and, divine reflections and all of these things. And I continue to find it very fascinating. However, it's not something which, again, I found myself wanting to call in from, at least from a needy place. But then the universe started to put in various signs that maybe I should explore these things a bit more. So I've been trying to do that, and I think a lot of suffice to say, because of my lack of experience and knowledge in these areas, I found myself really really walking around like a novice. I know how to deal with my own emotions, my own inner states in a solitary capacity, and I know how to curate what I share to others in more platonic friendships, which I'm very used to. But then, in a romantic setting, it was like a whole new ballpark and a whole new set of challenges. So even talking about it's very difficult because it's not something I know a lot about, but I can see that going beyond the edge and the barrier of feeling that it's somehow a sign of weakness to share with someone, there is so much joy and bliss and understanding. And learning about concepts such as loving yourself, being going to a relationship with a basis of self-love first, with the understanding that the other person cannot complete you, that they can enhance your friend, they can enhance your life, they can bring in more happiness, but they can only add to what you've already built in yourself as a foundation, and that we are all mirrors. If you go into a relationship from a place of lack, feeling a lack of self-worth, there might be temporary joy there if you manage to impress the person with your words or with your behavior. However, in a long-term sense, there's nothing to sustain you if you don't love yourself, because nobody can ever give you what you can give yourself. People have their own lives and their own issues and problems to deal with, and they can only feel safe to build with you if you have built within yourself a safe, secure and stable home. That you've worked on that self-love, on self-care, on your listening skills, on your compassion skills, on learning how to express your truth eloquently, articulately and clearly. Once you've learned how to do all of that, you don't have to be perfect, no one's perfect, but once you've started to work on these things as a practice, then I feel very strongly, although I have limited experience in this field, that you're able to share so much more with another person. You can give them so much more of yourself from a place of abundance and bliss, and you can receive love easily. You can receive love without self-deprecating, upper limiting yourself by deflecting compliments or putting yourself down, or not willing to absorb love and see it as valid for yourself and see yourself as worthy of it. So these are all things which I am continuing to learn a lot about, but suffice to say that it's been very interesting as somebody who is a self-confessed novice and beginner in these fields, but a very enthusiastic one at that. That's love in relationships. Thank you for listening to this video, and here's to the next part. This has been Wild Rocket Health with you from Istanbul in Turkey, from the universe. Bless you all. May you find peace and power within yourself, and may you express it freely and confidently in this world.